Hi, this is Gina with your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic. Did you know that you can sew buttons on with your sewing machine? Today I'd like to show you how. So I'm working on the Baby Lock Zest machine. I have my stitch selector set up for a zigzag stitch, and I've got my stitch length set to 0. If your machine has the capability to drop the feed dogs, you could also do that if you like. We also need a specialty foot. So you can see here, this foot has a little rubber toe that will hold on to your button for you, like this, as we sew. Let me show you how it's done. Most 2-hole buttons, the holes are a standard distance apart. So once you know where that setting is on your machine, you can use the same setting every time. But it's always a good idea to check. So I'm going to bring the button up under my foot here. And it's always a good idea just to take your hand wheel and turn that so the needle goes down in, and we want to check to make sure that it's going to make it into the other hole. I need to scoot just a little bit. And then we can go ahead and step on our pedal. So 6 or 8 times should be plenty. And there you go. Buttons sewn on by sewing machine. Some machines have a built-in stitch specifically for button sewing. So let me show you on our Baby Lock Presto. If I come up here, you can see this stitch number 90 is our button sewing stitch. I've got that one on the screen, and the preset stitch width is at 3.5. As I said, most buttons are a standard, the holes are a standard distance apart. So let's show you how this one works. And this stitch is also programmed with no stitch length, that's 0 stitch length. So with the Baby Lock button sewing foot, we're actually going to slide our button in between here, and we want to line up the holes with these red dots on the foot, and that should get us in just the right position. I find it a little easier to put that button in there before I put the foot on the machine. It's a little bit easier to manage it. This is kind of a thick foot, so my foot is up right at the moment. It's a little hard to tell that because it is kind of a tall foot. So let me lift that up, bring it in here. And even though this is a preset stitch, it's a good idea to check and make sure that your needle is going to clear those holes before you start to sew, because you don't want to hit the button and break your needle. So once we've checked, then we're ready to go ahead and step on the pedal. And you'll notice that as this stitch finishes, it'll stop and do a couple of stitches in one spot there to tie the knot. Then we lift up and we pull forward to slide our button out of the foot there. And there you have it. Button sewing by machine. Try it. This has been your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic.